Alright, welcome to this YLOC tutoring video. Today we'll be going over this 3rd grade worksheet. So, the first set of problems, let's see, the first 16 problems are about finding the missing addend. Now what does that mean? It basically just means finding this missing number over here that makes this equation true. So, 1 plus some number is equal to 5. Alright, so the thing is, we want to get this unknown number all on one side of the equation by itself. Now, how do we do that? Well, there's this pesky little plus 1 over here that just makes this kind of annoying, doesn't it? So what if we subtract 1 from both sides of this equation? Then we get some number is equal to 0 plus some number is equal to 5 minus 1, which is 4. So, since a number plus 0 is always equal to the same exact number, like 1 plus 0 is always equal to 1, or 2 plus 0 is equal to 2, we can just take out the 0 entirely and just erase it, since we know that whatever this number is, plus 0 is still that same exact number. So we find out that this number is just equal to 4. So we put 1 plus 4 is equal to 5. And let's just double check that really quickly. 1 plus 4, yeah, that's equal to 5. Alright, moving on to this next problem. We have some number plus 9 is equal to 20. Alright, how do we do this? So, remember, we want to isolate this unknown number, this number that we don't know, all by itself so that it equals some other number, so that we can find whatever makes this true. 9 plus this number equal to 20. Alright, so we want to get rid of this 9, so let's subtract 9 from both sides. And you want to do this to both sides, because think about it. 1 plus 2 is equal to 3, right? If you just subtract from one side, then you guess 2 equals to 3. That doesn't make much sense. So you have to take anything you took from one side over on the other side in order to make it make sense. Then we get something like 2 is equal to 2. That's normal. That makes sense. So, 20 minus 9 is equal to some number, since 9 minus 9 becomes 0, plus some number, which just equals to some number. So, 20 minus 9. We carry a 10 over from the tens place, subtracting 1 from 2 in the tens place, because 9 is way too big for a 0. So you get 10 minus 9 is equal to 1. Then you carry down this 1 over here in order to get 11. So some number is equal to 11. So we have our answer. 9 plus 11 is equal to 20. Alright, now here's a cool trick. You can see that some number plus another number is equal to the same exact number. How can that work? Well, what if we just add nothing to that number? 8 plus 0 is still equal to 8, right? So we can just fill in a big fat 0 over here to make this true, because 8 plus 0 is equal to 8. Alright, moving down on over here, we get 9 plus some number is equal to 16. Alright, so we want to isolate this unknown number all by itself. So we subtract 9 from both sides because this is taking up too much pesky space. So, subtract 9 from both sides. 9 minus 9 is 0. We don't need to worry about that. 16 minus 9. 16 is too small to fit 9, so we carry on over a 10 from the tens place, and then we get 10 minus 9 plus 6. So you get 1 plus 6, because 10 minus 9 is equal to 1. And then you add that to 6, so you get 7. So 16 minus 9 is equal to 7. And that means our unknown number is really just 7. So 7 plus 9 is equal to 16. Alright, moving on to number 5. Some unknown number plus 7 is equal to 11. Now, don't be scared of the fact that these two numbers have switched places for some reason. Remember, addition works no matter which order you put the numbers in. If you get 4 plus 5 and 5 plus 4, they still both equal 9. Now, of course, this doesn't apply to something like subtraction where 4 minus 5 and 5 minus 4 are different, because 4 minus 5 is negative 1, which you'll get into later, and then 5 minus 4 is 1. So those are completely different answers, aren't they? So remember, you can swap around the order of addition, but you can't swap around the order of subtraction. Deleting that just because that was an example. Anyway, so some number plus 7 is equal to 11. So remember, we want to get this unknown number all by itself. So we want to get rid of this plus 7. Well, the inverse of plus 7 is minus 7, right? If you want to get rid of something you've added, you have to remove it. So 7 minus 7, 0, don't need to worry about that. Just scribble it out or whatever you want to do. Now, 11 minus 7. So 7's way too big for 1. So we gotta take a 10 from the tens place and basically make this 10 plus 1 all minus 7. And you can rephrase this as 10 minus 7 plus 1, which basically just means you have 3 plus 1, and that's equal to 4. So you get some unknown number is equal to 4. So we find that 4 plus 7 is equal to 11, which you can't really see behind the mess, but I do apologize. Moving on, we have some number plus 5 is equal to 21. Alright, so remember, we want to get rid of this plus 5, because we want to have this unknown number alone all by itself so we can find out what it's equal to. So, to cancel it, we do 5 minus 5, and remember, do it both sides, because otherwise we'll get 2 is equal to 3, which doesn't make any sense. So 21 minus 5. Well, 1's way too big to fit 5 into, so take 10 out from the tens place out of the 20, and make this 11 minus 5. Now, just to make this go a bit faster, I'll shortcut that as this equaling to 6 and this equaling to 10, because we brought down this 1 over here, so we get 16. So, our unknown number is equal to 16. 16 plus 5 is equal to 21. Moving on, 13 plus some unknown number is equal to 29. So, we want to get this number all by itself to find out what it's equal to. Alright, so we get rid of this 13 because it's real annoying. And we just make 29 minus 13. Well, this time we don't need to carry on anything over to this ones place because 3 can fit into 9. You just end up with 6. So 9 minus 3 is equal to 6. Oh, forgive me for the poor, sloppy writing. And then 2 minus 1 is just 1. And that's in the tens place, so technically it's 20 minus 10 is equal to 10. So, 16. And we just bring down this unknown variable since we didn't do anything to it, this unknown number of ours, and we get this, and we get the fact that this unknown thing is equal to 16. So, 16 plus 13 is equal to 29. Alright, now we have something plus 11 is equal to 15. We want to get this all by itself, so what do? we subtract the 11 from both sides, and then we get the unknown number is equal to 15 minus 11. The 10s cancel out, so that becomes 0, and you don't even need to write that really. And then you have 5 minus 1, which is just equal to 4. So you find that the unknown number is equal to 4. So you just write in a 4 right here. 4 plus 11 is equal to 15. Moving on to this other side, we get 17 plus some unknown number is equal to 18. Now, this we can do a little shortcut. What's the number that comes after 17? It's 18. So really, that means we just need to add 1 to 17 to get to 18, right? And let's just double check this to make sure that we're not crazy. 7 plus 1 is equal to 8. 10, or 1 in the 10th place, plus 0 technically, but that's invisible there, so it doesn't really count, is equal to 1. 18, which is exactly what we wanted. Now, here we get back to a slightly less scary problem, though it might be still a little scary. We get 19 is equal to some number plus 3. So, how do we do this? We subtract 3 from both sides to leave this variable all on one side by itself, this unknown number. And we subtract this 3 from this side because this is an equation, which means we need to do whatever we do to one side to the other. So, 19 minus 3, let's see. Now 3 can go into 9 with enough room. So 9 minus 3 is 6. Then we just bring down the 1 and we get 1. So we find out that this unknown number that we want to find is 16. So we get 16 plus 3 is equal to 19. Now, moving on to this thing. Now, there's another trick that we can do with this. This problem, number 11. We find that 22 plus some number over here is equal to 22. Now, here's what I'm thinking. Aren't those the same exact number? And what plus what number is equal to that same number? It's simply 0. 22 plus 0 is equal to 22, because anything plus 0 is equal to itself. Alright, so that was a bit more easier. Now we get on to 6 plus some unknown number is equal to 24. Alright, let's have at this. Now, we want to get this little unknown number that we want to find right now all by itself. So we subtract 6 from both sides, because we want to get rid of this 6 on this side so that this unknown number is all alone by itself. Now, 6 minus 6 is just equal to 0, so we don't need to care about that. Now, 24. Now, 4 minus 6, that doesn't really work now, does it? So we need to take a 10 from over on this side and leave that as a 1, then make this 14. Now, 14 minus 6, that can leave you with a positive number. So what's 14 minus 6? Well, I'll go a little fast this time, but it's 8. Now carry down this 1, and it's just 18. So 6 plus 18 is equal to 24. Now we move on to this next problem, question 13. So, some number that we don't know yet, plus 8 is equals to 14. So, as before, 8, addition and subtraction are the opposites of each other. So we want to cancel this out by subtracting 8 from both sides, because remember, this is an equation. So we want whatever we do to one side, we do to the other side. So, 8 minus 8 is 0. 14 minus 8 is equal to 6. And this means that this unknown number that we had is equal to this unknown number that we have plus 0 is equal to 6, but since anything plus 0 is itself, we don't need to worry about that plus 0. So we just find that this unknown number is 6. It's equal to 6. So we get 6 plus 8 is equal to 14. Moving on to number 14. We find out that something plus 5 is equal to 18. Now remember, the key part of all this is we want to get this unknown number that we don't know, it could be any number for all we know, all by itself so that we find that on this side is our answer. So we subtract 5 from both sides to get it all by itself. Now this cancels out, so we don't need to worry about that. And 18 minus 5. Well, 8 minus 5 is relatively easy enough, which is just 3. You bring down the 1, you get 13. So you find out that this unknown number, that plus 5 is equal to 18, is really just 13. So we get 13. Alright, here's another relatively easy problem. 1 plus something is equal to 21. So think about it. What plus 1 is equal to 21? It must be the number before it, right? So if we think of a number line where we have 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, we just want to go one number before this, and that's just 20. So we find that 20 plus 1 is equal to 21. Now here's a bit of an easier problem. 4 plus some unknown number that we want to find out is equal to 7. Alright, so let's do the same thing we've been doing. We subtract 4 from both sides to get this unknown number all by itself. And we find that this cancels out into 0, so we don't need to worry about it. Because 4 minus 4 is 0, so we can just completely ignore this addition because 0 plus anything is itself. So we move on to this side, which is 7 minus 4, which we find out is 3. So this unknown number is equal to 3. And bada bing bada boom, you have 4 plus 3 is equal to 7. And now we have a bit of an easier topic, finding the sum, although it might not be easy for some people, but we'll get you through it. So, first problem, 44 plus 22 is equal to something. Well, let's figure it out. So first, let's focus on the ones column. Let me draw that line better. 4 plus 2 is equal to what? 6. And since that doesn't cause any numbers to happen in the tens place, we don't need to worry about carrying anything over. So secretly there's a 0 there, but usually we don't draw it, because if there's nothing there, it might as well be a 0. So we move on to the tens place. 4 plus 2 is also equal to 6. Now that means we get a result of 66. 44 plus 22 is equal to 66. Moving on to the next problem, a bit more complicated. 58 plus 16 is equal to something. Let's find out. Okay, so we have 8 plus 6. Oh, that's complicated, isn't it? Well, no worries. Think of it this way. How much does it take to get 8 to 10? You only need 2, right? So then you have 4 left over when you subtract 2 from 6. So if you add it all up, you get 14. And since we can't have a 10 in the first column, we carry it on over up top here. And then we bring down the 4 over here. So we get 1 plus 5 plus 1 is equal to something. So let's see. 1 plus 5, that's equal to 6. 6 plus 1, that's equal to 7. So we get 74. moving on to the next one. We get 74 plus 14. So, first of all, as always, deal with the ones column first. Just a reminder, this is the ones column, tens column. So, 4 plus 4, what's that equal to? 8. And since that didn't cause any carryover into the tens column like the previous one, we don't need to carry anything over. So now we just need to focus on the tens column, which is 7 plus 1. And that's also equal to 8, coincidentally. So we get 88. Moving on to the next problem, we get 63 plus 19. Alright, now remember, focus on the first column first, the ones column. So what's 3 plus 9? Some of you may be able to do this in your head, and you can just get to 12. But some other people, it's not so easy, and I understand that. I'm not so great at math either. So, let's do it slightly simpler. How much does it take to get 9 equal to 10? It's just 1, right? So, we just take 1 off of 3 to compensate for this. And we get 2. So, we find out that 9 plus 3 is equal to 12. Now, you may not think in this way and think that my way is a bit silly, but that's why there's so many other tutors here. Go look at one of their videos. So, we put a 2 in the ones column, and then we move this 10 over to the tens column, so we can add it with the rest of these other numbers like 6 and 1. So, 6 plus 1, that's just equal to 7. 7 plus 1, that's equal to 8. So we get 82, since we brought it over in the tens column. Right, we're moving on to number 5, which is some pretty big numbers if I do say so myself. So, alright, as always, look at the first column, the ones column, and we can see that 7 plus 5 is equal to some number. Some of you, as before, can do this in your head somehow, but some other people it's not so easy. So let's think about it. What does it take to get 5 to equal to 10? 5. 5 plus 5 is equal to 10. Now we subtract 5 from the 7 to compensate for this, since we already just used up the 5 from the 7 over here to reach 10. So we get that the remaining amount of number in 7 I mean, is 2. And if we add 10 plus 2, this is easy, 2 plus 0 is just 2, and then bring down the 1 from the tens column, and you get 12. So you put this 2 in the ones column, and move this 10 over to the tens column. So, I see a bit of a shortcut with this. So we add 1 to this 3 over here, and we get 4 plus 4. 4 plus 4 is just equal to 8. So we get 82 as our final answer. Moving on to question number 6. We have 86 plus 12. You can think of it another way if the way I've been teaching it isn't so helpful for you. You can just try to totally black out the tens column. And then you get 6 plus 2. That's easy. It's 8. Now, you move on over this blackout to this other side. Or maybe I'll just redraw it entirely. 8 plus 1 is equal to what? 9. And you move that in the tens column because you're adding these numbers in the tens column. Because secretly, this 8 is really an 80, and this 1 is secretly a 10. So you get the final answer of 98. Alright. Ooh, this is a spicy one. So, 91 plus 18. Alright, so let's take care of this. We move this, we add this 1 to this 8 over here, and we get 9. Then we move on to the tens column, and we get that 9 plus 1 is equal to 10? Well, we move this 10, which is really 100, because this 9 plus 1 is really a 90 plus 1. So you move this 10 over to the hundredths place, over one column, and you find that this is equal to 109. 109. Kind of a big number. Another one like this. Alright. This one, we're going to have to carry in multiple different columns. Or, no, just one column. Forgive me. Anyways. So, 8 plus 4? Well, you can think that 8 plus 2 is equal to 10, and since we already used up a 2 from the 4, we can find that what's left over is the 2. So we get this 2 from over here in the ones place, and move this 10 on over to the tens place, as just a simple 1 in the tens place. So we get that 6 plus 1 is equal to 7, plus 2 is equal to 9. We get 92 as our final answer. And now we move on to difference finding, or otherwise known as subtraction. Notice how this says use addition to check, and we'll get into that in a second or two. Now, first, we have 75 minus 32. Now, just like addition, we're going to focus on the ones column first, which is this little area over here. So, 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. Then we move on to the tens column, since we're done with this area. 7 minus 3 is equal to 4. Now, the final answer is 43. Now, since this said to use addition to check, let's do that. So, one easy way to do this is you get your final answer, and you add it to the number that you subtracted from your original number. So, we have to ignore this minus sign because that's the subtraction that we just did. So we do 32 plus 43. So we get 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, and we get that 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. So we get 75, which is just like our original number that we subtracted from. So with this, we can find that 43 is most likely correct. Moving a little quicker. 64 minus 27. Now, immediately, as I look at this, in the ones column, I notice that 7 doesn't really go into 4 that well. So we need to take a 10 from this 60 over here and make it a 50 and make this a 14. Now this makes it way easier now. 14 minus 7 is equal to 7. And then we get 5 minus 2 is equal to 3, which is really a 30 because it was 50 minus 2 because we're in the tens column. So 37. And I guess we could use addition to check, but I'll leave that up to you as your own work. Now we move on to 89 minus 43. Alright, so 9 minus 3, we get 6. Since we can fit enough 3 into 9, we can take 3 away from 9 without not having enough to take away. Now we move on to the tens column. 8 minus 4, that's 40, or 4 I guess, in the tens column, which is 46, our final answer. As always, checking your answer with addition is your own business. But let's just do it really quickly, just make sure you know how the process goes. 43 plus 46 is equal to 3 plus 6, which is 9, and then 40 plus 40, 4 plus 4, which is equal to 8. In the tens column, which is 80. 89, our original number. So we can know that this answer is right. Moving right along, we get 58 minus 19. Alright, let's do this a little faster now. 8 minus 9. 9 doesn't fit enough into 8, so we take a 10 from the tens column, make this a 40, or a 4 in the tens column, then make this 18, since we just added 10 onto 8. So 18 minus 9, that's equal to 9. Now we have this 4 minus 1 all in the tens column, which makes it really 40 minus 10. but you don't need to worry about that since it's already all laid out for you. So 4 minus 1, 3, 39. Final answer. Check with addition on your own now that I've shown you how to do it. We go into 5. Alright, I can already see 6 is way bigger than 2. So we need to borrow a 10 from the tens place. So make this a 6. And add 10 to 2, which makes it 12. 12 minus 6 is equal to 6. And now that this is 6, we subtract 3 from it, and we get 3. 36. Again, check it with addition on your own time, just by adding 36 plus 36. 94 minus 48. Alright, so 8's too big for 4, so we take out a 10 from the 9 and make it an 8. Add 4 to 10, which makes it 14. 14 minus 8 is equal to 6. So we get 6 in the ones place. Now, using this abused 8, we take out a 4, making it a 4. 46. Number 7, we have 61 minus 25. So, again, 5 is too big for 1, so we take out a 10 from the tens place and make it a 5, then add 10 to 1, which makes it 11. Then we get 11 minus 5, which is 6. Then we get 5 minus 2, which is 3. Then we get 36. Now, 87 minus 39, right? So again, 9 is too big for 7, so we need to take a 10 out of the tens place and add it to 7, which becomes 17. And then 17 minus 9 then becomes 2. Sorry, forgive me. It just becomes 8. This is what happens when you rush things. Think through things slowly. Alright, now 7 minus 3 is 4. 48. And that's all the subtraction problems. Easy enough. Alright, word problems. Here's the tricky part. You gotta do English and math at the same time. Alright, so Sarah has 45 stickers. She buys 23 more, notice this word more, stickers at the store. But then she gives 15 stickers to her friend. And notice how she gives them away. How many stickers does Sarah have now? So, originally she started with 45 stickers. Then she added on 23 more stickers to her collection. So, we add on 23 to represent the fact that she got 23 more stickers from the store. But then she gives away 15 to her friend. And to give away is to subtract from your own quantity and add to another person's quantity or amount of stuff. So we do minus 15. And that equals to how many she has now. Now this looks big and scary, but take it one step at a time. First, let's focus on this 45 plus 23. Let's write out 45 plus 23. We find that 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. And then we move on to the tens column since we don't have to carry anything over, and we find that 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. So after she bought 23 more stickers at the store, she now had 68. But stop, that isn't our final answer. Remember, she gave away 15 at the store. I mean, to her friend. So we have to do 68 minus 15. So 8 minus 5, that's 3. And then we move on to the tens place. 6 minus 1, 5. And now we end up with 53 stickers. So she ended up with 53 stickers. And that's sort of the way you could phrase it. Or you could say, she now has 53 stickers. Or, after buying 23 stickers and giving away 15, she had 53 stickers. Anything of the sort. Now, box your answers so that your teacher or whoever is looking at your work can more easily see your answer, because you're not just doing this work for yourself, you're doing it so that your teacher can tell how good you are at this stuff. Moving on to the next problem. Tom had 60 pencils. He lost 18 of them. Wow, that's kind of a lot. But then he found 25 more in his desk. How many pencils does Tom have now? Alright, so Tom initially starts off with 60. He loses 18 of them. So we have to subtract 18 from the original total because they're gone. He lost them all. But then he finds 25 more. And notice how this says more. So that means you usually add. So 25. And that's equal to however much he has now. And then it's just as you've done before, but instead this time doing addition first, you do subtraction, because subtraction comes first in this specific equation, because you read math left to right. You read that, oh, 60 minus 18. Oh, and then whatever this result was, plus 25. So, 60 minus 18. 8's way bigger than 0, so we gotta take a 10 from the tens place and make this a 10. So, now we have 10 minus 8, which just becomes 2. And then we have 5 minus 1, which equals to 4. So, after he loses 18 pencils from his 60 pencil collection, he now has 42 pencils. But wait, remember to do the whole problem. He then found 25 more. So that means we have to do 42 plus, what was it, 25? Kind of a lot of pencils. So, 2 plus 5 is equal to 7. Then 4 plus 6 is 4 plus 2 is equal to 6. Forgive me. So now we find that at the end of the day, he has 7 extra pencils from his original collection of 60. So, Tom now has 67 pencils. And box the answer, or circle it, or just make it obvious that this is your final response, that Tom has 67 pencils. Because remember, you want to show the teacher how cool you are, even though you might not respect the teacher, which I can understand. Anyways, so we move on to Lily's birthday party. They started off with 50 balloons, then 17 balloons popped, so they're gone now. But then they added 22 more balloons to the party. I bet the dad rushed really quickly. Anyways, so you have, first let's take care of 50, which is the original amount of balloons that Lily's birthday party had. Then we subtract 17, because 17 balloons are gone now. They all popped. But then they add 20 more, because they pulled out of the pantry. So, in the case of addition and subtraction, you read left to right. So, 50 minus 17. 7's too big for 0, so you gotta take a 10 from the tens column, add that to 0, which just makes it 10. And then 10 minus 7 is equal to 3. Then 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. So after popping 17 balloons, she ends up with 33 at her party. But then her dad comes in, or whoever it was, to save the day. And now she has another 22 balloons. So 3 plus 2, 5. 3 plus 2, 5. So we end up with 55 balloons. Now, remember to write this out, because if you just give me the number 55, I'm going to go what? Watermelons? So, Lily had 55 balloons. Oh, I'm spelling it wrong. Not their L. Balloons at the end of the day. Now you don't have to write specifically how I've written it. You could say, Lily now has 55 balloons, or Lily's birthday party now has 55 balloons, or such and such. Remember, this is English. You could change it in so many different ways. Alright. Question number 4. Classroom library had 85 books, 30 books were checked out by the students, but the teacher added 14 new books to the library. How many books are in the classroom now? So, they're saying that originally the library had 85 books at the start. Then they took away 30 because they were checked out by the students who should do their reading. But then the teacher added 14 new books to the library, so you add 14 more. So, remember, left to right, take care of the left side before the right in addition and subtraction. 85 minus 30. 5 minus 0, well that's easy, it's 5. And then 8 minus 3, that's kind of easy, it's 5. So after 30 books were checked out, that's 55. And then you get 55 plus 14, because after this, the teacher added more books to the collection. So you have 5 plus 4, which is 9, and then 5 plus 1, which is equal to 6, 69. So there are now 69 books in the library, and box it so that the teacher knows, or whoever's grading it can know that this is your answer. You're confident in it. Alright, so that's this lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day.